Want to make animated cartoon style videos and have your characters lip sync to the words that they're saying? You're in the right place. I went searching for a tool that would do exactly that, and I didn't want to break the budget on this. I wanted something as cheap as possible. And what I've been using is CreateStudio. Let's take a look. I'll show you how to lip sync. We're in CreateStudio, click New Project. The layout is similar to a video editor. You have the timeline at the bottom, you have the preview canvas up top, and then over on the left, you have the assets and the properties and those things. So the first thing we need is kind of a background, sort of set the scene of where we're at. We can come up here and click backgrounds. And if this stuff isn't what's showing for you, maybe because you're in a different tab here. So just click this one that looks like the rocket ship, I guess it is. It says Studio. We'll click backgrounds. I have this filtered to free. Click this little drop down, switch it to other things if you want. I'm only interested in the free stuff. So we'll scroll down through here and I'm just going to pick the wood wall as my background. I'll hit the download to get it in my library and then I'll just drag it onto the timeline. Now I want to make this a vertical video, so I need to change that. So we go to settings, resolution, and switch this to vertical. And I'll click on this wood wall background and just drag it out so that it fills the screen. That'll work. I'm going to go back to my studio, hit this little arrow button. In this character section, you have tons of 2D characters. The problem is that you can't lip sync them. So they're really cool, but they don't work for what I want to do because I want my character to talk. I'm going to go back and go to 3D characters, 3D creator I think it is, and you have 4 choices: Lenka, Tom, Danny, and Bella. So Lenka is a female, Tom is a male, Danny is a boy, and Bella is a girl. You say, well gosh, that's not much to pick from. Don't worry, we're going to make them all unique. So I'm going to pick Tom, and I'm going to drag him down here. I want to make sure that I'm putting Tom on a layer that's above the wall, the wood wall, so that he's not hidden behind the wall. He's a little small here. I want him to be bigger, so I just click on him, drag until his feet are up like this. I want him to be really big. I'll go something like that. And I definitely don't want Tom. This is not the style that I'm looking for. The good news is that I can customize Tom however I want. And if I create a character that I want to use again, I can save that as a preset. Look here under presets and you can see all the presets I've created based on the character Tom. So if I click one of these, Tom will instantly change into this. I'm not going to do that because I want to show you what you can change. I think we'll put our guy in an open jacket with the pants. That looks fine. He can be in jeans. Shoes, let's give him something a little more, I don't know, some work boot looking shoes. There we go. That's fine. We can put a hat on him if we like. Well, he does look pretty good in a big old cowboy hat. We can do whatever we want to his hair. Let's turn the hats off so that you can see what the hair looks like. Take something away completely. We don't want any hat. We'll just hit none. Then we can go check out his hair. I think we'll just put him with medium hair. We could put glasses on him if we want to. We can adjust his facial hair a little bit. There's beard default. You could just put him in a mustache or give him a side shaved or whatever you want. We'll go with side shaved. You can change up his eyebrows if you feel so inclined. You can add a bunch of accessories, an Apple Watch, headphones, all these gadgets here. If you want to incorporate your own logo, you can do that in here as well. Put in your logo, and then if you use one of those, like the shirt design that has a logo on it, it'll put that logo on the shirt that he's wearing. You can also, if you have like a PC or a phone screen in the video that you're making, you can come in here and tell it what image you want to be displayed on that screen. We can also give him a specific tattoo if we wanted to. Not interested in all of that. We go to colors, and this will give you colors for everything that you've selected here. So if you have a hat in the customization, you'll see a hat color here. If you don't have a hat, you won't see a hat color. If you have a watch, you'll be able to change the watch color. We can change his skin tone. You want to change that jacket color, you can do that as well. I think I should have left it alone. Let me just make it a dark blue. If you want him to be casting a shadow, you can edit that here by clicking shadow, set the distance and the blur, the angle, so that however the light's coming, that's how you want it. Play around with that until you get what you want. So we'll put a little shadow on him at 10 pixel distance and a 10 pixel blur, and the black color for a shadow works just fine. You can also, in this actions tab, you can decide what you want him to be doing. So right now he's idle. And that's what it also says down here in our timeline, idle. We can add a new action. That'll mean he'll be idle for a while and then he'll change to doing something else. And we can have him doing all kinds of things in here. We can have him just idle like it is. We can have him sort of happy. And if we want to see what that looks like, we can take our playhead here and move it over under that action. See how it added happy down here. We can see what happy looks like. That's a little much. Searching gives him a magnifying glass. I'm going to get rid of these two because I'm adding a whole bunch of actions there, and that's not really what I wanted to do. So I'll just click on idle. That'll allow me to just change that action that already exists. So here we got him pushing something. We can make him sad. We've got him doing a selfie. He can be thumbs downing it. Let's close the shadow tab. You want him working on a PC? No problem. There he is. Talking on the phone. He can be doing that too. He can be all surprised. I'm just going to have him be idle. And we want to make sure our character stays on for the whole scene. So I'll drag this over to the end. There we go. And now we need him to say something. I already have my voiceover file, the audio that I want to use, something I created in 11 Labs. I'm just going to drag that in. It doesn't matter what part of CreateStudio you're in. You can drag something and it'll bring you back here to the media tab. This is the file that I want to use for audio. So I'll just drag it down. I'm going to put that on top of Tom. And then I see that my audio is much longer than what I've got in the visuals. So I'm going to use Control and my scroll wheel so that I can zoom that out and see the whole timeline. Grab this little box, drag him out to the end. I'll also grab the background, drag it out to the end, so now everything will stay in place. If we just play here...
If you want to know something about politics, just think about...
Oh, no lips moving. We need to fix that. So we just click on the auto file, we right-click, and say, Sync with Tom. Go back to the beginning.
If you want to know something about politics, just think about the difference between humans and animals. Oh, humans are so smart. But animals would never allow the dumbest ones to lead the pack.
And there you go. If we change Tom's name, we could do that in here. And I'll do this for projects where I have multiple characters just so I can keep them straight. Because even though we use Tom as the base, this guy is a different character than Tom to me because Tom looks like Tom looks and this guy looks different. So we could change that name. We just double click it and change the name. Say if we want to name this guy Fred, then when we're up here and we right click, we're going to say sync with Fred rather than sync with Tom. We want to pep him up a little bit. Down here where it says idle, we can click on that and your facial expressions, you can change just his facial expression, not the whole action that he's doing. So you drop that down, he can be happy, sad, or angry. There's his sad, there's his happy, and there's his angry. So what if you want to change facial expressions as the video goes on? What you would do is, I've got him as idle, and this is his one action for the whole scene. I don't really want to have him doing any of these other things necessarily. So I'm just going to add another idle action. So I'll click Add New Action and Idle. Now I've got this second one. It kind of pushed things out a little bit, so we need to drag that in. And if you pay attention to these little blocks right here, idle is our action here, idle is the action over here. These little blocks tell you where it's going to change. I don't want it to change so late in the video, so I'm going to grab this block, I'm going to drag it back right about here, and then I'm going to click on idle, grab this block, drag it out. So there we go. This is about where the change will happen. You can also on these actions determine whether you want him to be blinking his eyes still, whether you want to disable the transition, because when you go from one action to another, CreateStudio builds in the transition so that if he's going from idle to sitting, he'll actually sit down in a way that makes sense rather than just a cut from standing idle to sitting. In this case, I'm just going from idle to idle, so the transition is nothing. I don't need to worry about that. I do want his eyes to be blinking. For this idle though, I think I want his face to get a little more serious, and we don't have a serious option here. So let me drag my playhead over into this idle. Happy isn't really what I want. Sad could work, and angry could work. Either one of those would work, I think. We'll go with sad, make it a little more serious. We can come back here to this action, this idle, change this one to he can be happy there. That's fine. That might make more contrast when he changes. Let's take a look.
If you want to know something about politics, just think about the difference between humans and animals. Oh, humans are so smart. But animals would never allow the dumbest ones to lead the pack.
Okay, that gives me a little bit of change. That's what I was looking for. If you want to trim the whole thing up, just like a timeline editor, you can just go to this end here, drag this in, do the same thing with this guy. Only here we need to use this little box in the upper right-hand corner. drag that in, and drag that in. Publishing is pretty easy. You do have to save the file first, give your project a name, save our project, then we can publish. Pick your settings here. I think video MP4 works fine with me. I'm good with standard quality. You can change that, of course, to high or something custom if you want. Select your output file. That's what we want to save as, and it starts saving. All done. Now, here's the deal with CreateStudio. They do have a lifetime offer, $67 for CreateStudio 3.0. That's what I have. You can use it, and you can use everything in it that's marked as free, and you get all the features that are listed right here. What will happen if you're using the $67 lifetime deal? Yes, you own the software for life, and you can use it and use all the free assets that are inside it. But there are a lot of assets in here that are not free. You see these little gold crowns on some of these. These are things that are not free. CreateStudio will encourage you to join the All Access Club. You can do that monthly for $27 or annually for $147. And here's a list of the features that come with the All Access Club. Now for me, I'm not trying to have another monthly subscription or an annual subscription, as it were. And I'm pretty happy with what I can do with the stock stuff in CreateStudio. As far as the backgrounds go, if they don't have a background I like in the free plan, DALL-E 3's style really works for these cartoon animation things for me, so I just go whip something up there and I'm good to go. As far as the 3D characters that I can lip sync to, like I said, you got 4 here, man, woman, boy, and girl, and you can transform them quite a bit. And yes, all the male characters are going to have the same base body shape, and all the female characters, they'll have the same basic body shape, but there's enough customization options that I can make them into somewhat different characters for my needs. It's not perfect. For a $67 one-time fee, I wouldn't expect something that's going to knock my socks off, but it does do basically what I need it to do. One thing that gets me a little bit is like, there's only one way to have this guy talking on the phone. That's this action, and he's always got a cup of coffee in one hand, talking on the phone in the other, and he's always swaying. I'd prefer it didn't have the cup of coffee, and I'd prefer it wasn't just swaying back and forth, but you can do some creative editing and make that work. For instance, I've sized and positioned him sometimes in such a way that the cup of coffee goes off the screen or behind something else. Works for me. Now, if I was all in on these animations and lip syncing, like if this was my main thing and something I was totally going hard at, I probably would look at some different options. I'd either look at that all access thing because the 3D characters do get some additional actions, or I'd consider something that is a really well-known, really good animating software like Vyond, but the pricing of that is much, much higher. $54 a month if you do it annually, so it's $649 a year or $89 a month. So I'm getting CreateStudio for life for $67. That's kind of the deal I'm looking for. If I was going hard in the animation thing, Vyond is probably where I'd go. I hope this helped. If you have any thoughts or tips or your own experiences, please share them in the comments. I'm always looking to learn new things. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.